Hi, I'm Dorian, or Leviathan to my friends, and I'm an eldritch abomination lurking in the corners of your attic. I also happen to be an artist who decided not to jump the Instagram ship, and I'm here to tell you why. In the last few weeks, there's been a lot of back and forth about people that are leaving Instagram versus people that aren't leaving Instagram, and ultimately where they should go if they are indeed leaving the platform. This is because Meta, the company that owns Instagram, Facebook, and whatever Threads is, has decided to opt everyone into their generative AI model. You could attempt to opt out of this blatant misuse of power by a walking thumb, which resulted in 45 minutes of your time being wasted just trying to find a way to start the process. It was buried in people's notifications, and you had to go through your settings to the About page and then end up on the privacy policy page where you could fill out a form called the right to object. Artists and various Insta users inside of the UK and the EU had their forms automatically accepted due to GDPR, a privacy policy within those countries. Everyone else had to try and prove that the generative AI would be a detriment to them. Unfortunately, most of them were told that the AI would not be a detriment to them, and even that their reasoning wasn't good enough. Zuckerberg has always been a villain, but he has really entered his supervillain stage in the last 7 years. This was and is the metaphorical nail in the coffin for a lot of Instagram artists and users in general that have Instagram as their main platform. The algorithm is particularly bad. Most of your followers don't end up seeing your posts. The timeline isn't chronological, and a lot of people have issues with not wanting to make reels. All of that paired with waves of scam bots and people stealing others' art and passing it off as their own without the use of AI pretty much buried the hatchet for Instagram. In retaliation, people are starting to flock to an app called Cara, which is a new app made by Jingna Zheng and her team. I've had an account for about a year, and it has automatic AI detection according to its About page. It also has a glaze feature that you can gain access to by having an account, but it does seem that it's disabled for now because of some sort of abuse issue. For those who don't know, Glaze is a program that filters your art and makes it incredibly hard for fake artists that use generative AI to use your art in their prompts. We'll talk more about protecting your art from AI later. Cara also has other really cool features like a portfolio where you can actively choose what you want displayed on your account in a more professional manner, like finished pieces rather than sketches or whips. But you can still post those. It just ends up on your profile's timeline rather than in the portfolio itself. Cara is a mishmash of a whole bunch of user interfaces, and it is slightly hard to use. It does remind me of DeviantArt way back in the day, but I'm not sure how their tagging system works. I've put tags in my posts before, but I don't know how people are finding them. A few weeks ago, it did have super big issues with being glitchy and really slow, but I think that's been fixed since then. I have seen some growth on Cara as well. It's a nice little community to post in. You can tell there's a button coming, can't you? While it's nice to have an art community that is more akin to DeviantArt way back in the day and the 2010s, it still really isn't going to cut it, at least not for now. The vast majority of people are not using Cara. I've seen quite a few people that are really upset about having to use another platform, and unless a miracle happens, I do think they're going to have a major drop in user base if they haven't already. The only way for Cara to become a major player within the social media space and actually make it is to have a lot more users. Quite a few artists are literally just going to make an account to save their username. Cara does have the potential of becoming a larger social media platform, but it's definitely not there yet. It will likely take quite a few years to really develop all of that, and there needs to be continuous use and a lot of advertising to make that happen. There's supposedly 1.4 billion users on Instagram. How many of those are bots is anyone's guess. There's 335.7 million users on Twitter and 222.7 million users on Tumblr. Cara is at 700,000. It's a far cry from the numbers of those social media sites, but it isn't anything to sneeze at. Artists will still need to be able to pay the bills and eat in the meantime, of course. So personally, I think jumping ship and doom spiraling really isn't your best bet. Moving over to a new platform for a newer social media app is not really going to pay your bills unless you already have an industry job or a very, very large and dedicated audience. However, I'm not saying you shouldn't use Cara. You can definitely foster a community there, especially one with a lot of artists that can really back you up and become a sort of friendship group. I'm definitely going to try that myself, but you also really can't rely on one social media site anyway. I know people complain about having to post to 10 different social media sites and make hours and hours of video content. They're allowed to complain about that. We artists wear many different hats to be able to survive in this economy, but you do just kind of have to get on with it and choose 2 or 3 sites to post on. If you have the time, taking 20 minutes out of your day to record 6 seconds of you drawing and then thinking of a question to post on it and taking a trending audio and putting it on there, it really isn't that hard. If you don't want to do that or don't have the time or don't understand how to do it, then by all means don't do it. Maybe invest in other sites that don't use videos as their main content source. That's really just how it's going to be. Unfortunately, you kind of have to adapt to the times and how social media sites work and evolve. Reels are the biggest reason why my account has grown on Instagram, and I usually post stupid questions for the engagement or show my processes. I've gotten to 7.4K followers from like 500 in 6 months, all because of Reels. My husband has seen massive growth in follower count as well. From Reels alone, he's gone from barely breaking 300 followers and struggling for anyone to see his work to at least a fraction of his people seeing his posts and having nearly 1K followers in 5 months. All from Reels. But again, if you don't have the time, don't want to, or don't understand to, you don't have to make Reels. The algorithm is always going to suck. People won't always see your art. You'll have to spend inordinate amounts of time on social media sites, yada, 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 yada. But that is literally the case for most websites. And it will probably be the fate for Cara as well, unless we're hit with a miracle, like I said. It will be up to us to change that. My main issue with Cara is that people all over the internet are yelling about how we need a place for artists, that DeviantArt was the last hub of art community, which is not the case. Cara is not the end-all be-all as much as it is a really cool place. What I'm getting at is that they're blatantly ignoring one of the larger blogging platforms that we were all on in our teens. Tumblr. Back in 2014, everyone would send asks about their favorite characters and engage for hours in thoughtful or cringe-inducing conversations in real time on their dashboards. It's been that way since 2008, and I've been there since about 2011. There's been a definite downturn in that sort of behavior, and there's a lot less engagement than there used to be, but Tumblr doesn't have an algorithm. It's all chronological. Sure, there's our For You page, but I doubt anybody uses it. And there's even a tags tab where you can track tags and actually look at the stuff that's in there. They also took away Tumblr Live quite a bit ago, and you don't have to look at weirdos on the internet just by logging in. It's also largely stayed the same UI-wise for the last few years. The only big problem with Tumblr is that we're using it like other social media sites like Twitter and Instagram. We're not having those meaningful conversations anymore and losing our marbles in people's ask boxes. But we can bring that back. We just have to engage more. We have to have those conversations. We have to send asks and yell on the tags and submit things to people. Foster a community there too, as well as on Cara. It wouldn't be that hard in the long run. Of course, we would still need to use bigger websites like Twitter and Instagram for clients and getting people to see our art, and for industry professionals to have a portfolio, because for some reason Twitter is the huge one in that regard. And with all the AI shenanigans, it is hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. However, we can't lose hope. There are ways to combat generative AI, and I personally think AI is going to see a downfall here soon. Obviously, there are apps or websites like Glaze and Nightshade that can protect your art by putting a filter over it or poisoning it. WebGlaze is your best bet, though you do need to DM the team to get access to it. You can do so through this set of instructions. I've requested my own invite through Instagram, and it seems to be about a month or so wait according to the comments. They are a fairly small team, so be patient with them. Nightshade is an independent app ran by a similar team to the people who made Glaze, and you have to download it through their website. At the moment, I'm not really personally worried about needing to use Nightshade, but I would imagine larger artists and those with industry jobs might see a lot of use out of it. Nightshade poisons the artwork so that if someone attempts to use your art for a prompt, it comes out mangled and unusable. Definitely a useful tool. If you can't download either of these apps or use them in general, you can literally just put a noise filter over your art and mess with it a bit, and also put a watermark over it, and also lessen it to about 150 dpi rather than 350 or whatever you have it at. Literally that easy. All you have to do is randomize how you make the filter. I usually use a combo of noise and chromatic aberration in Procreate on an overlay layer, and then I slap my watermark on it somewhere. While fake artists might be able to use my artwork if they really wanted to, as I have no definitive proof of this actually working like Glaze, I would imagine it's the same concept. And we've also been doing this on the internet for years, all as a preventative measure to make sure that people stop stealing our art or make it harder for people to erase the watermark on our images. Back in the day, it would make it too crunchy for art reposters and art thieves to repost it on Instagram or Twitter or Tumblr or whatever. If you're still worried though, I did come across a video by Ergo Josh where he talks about Cara and some interesting AI points. He talks about an artist that was feeding her artwork through generative AI and then found that if she took a picture of the artwork surrounded by a bunch of different things, that the AI had a harder time reading it. There will be a link in the description below to Ergo Josh's video. He does a much better job at explaining all of that. You should take a look at it and all the other content he makes. He is a really amazing artist, and he goes into depth about AI quite a bit. I'll also be linking another video by the YouTuber Mohammed Agbadi, who is super insightful and also entertaining to boot. He also explains the Instagram thing way better than I could. Both of these people and pretty much everybody that I have watched a video on for AI topics has really made me think about what else I could say and also reiterate from my last AI video. I didn't get everything that I wanted to across, and I'm really helpful for the inspiration and the help in general from all of these people. They've also given me some hope and stopped me from spiraling out of control about the whole AI situation. It may be too late to leave Instagram, but it's not too late to take preventative measures to protect yourself from AI and be able to thrive on your creations. Hopefully this helped. Again, if you want to know more, check out those creators in the description box below. If you're confused on how to make reels or how to make social media work for you, I do have an older video about it. I do think that I'm going to remake it just because things have changed in the last 6 months. Just remember not to look in your attic, as I'm currently chewing my way through all of the cables connected to the AI Bros servers, and I need a little space to be able to do that. Thank you so much. Thank you to Jacques, Herald of the Dark Roast, Meg, Exarch of the Golden Egg, High Artisan Anonymous Bee, Great Alpha Wolf Squilliam William, Nairuz, Seer of Rosy Mercy, Ghost, Infernal Collector of the Damned, Golden Paladin Court, Isabella, Redeemer of Bad Himbos, Keeper of the Lapin Warren, Robin, Most Royal of all the Rats, Ethereal Consort of House Vicarian, Fungal Sovereign Taz, Exalted Curator Wick, the Under-Elf of Delphinia, Paragon of Starlight, an impossible amount of rat babies, Divine Herald Jordan, Estrella
Sage of the Outer Realms, Wretched Sauce of House Worcestershire, Champion Pallypunk of the Immortal Valley, Tailor of Macabre Coney Livery, Eternal Apostle Austin, the Contingent of Fables, the Eminence of Light, Bunny, Exarch of the Ornate Tomb, Harley the Sanguinous, Grand Overlord Silas, Being of Exalted Sunlight, Delegate of Clan Latineurs, Eternal Consul Puja, High Magi Katie, the Herald of Wrens, Knight Susan of the Milkiest Order, and the Great Seer Claire.